Austin, Texas, it's the capital. We've got a unique blend of cultural diversity, tech, outdoor space, music. I mean, hey, we're called the live music capital of the world, but is it worth the hype? I'm going to tell you today all the characteristics about Austin, Texas, and you can determine if it's right for you or not. Hey, I'm Nicole Cooper. My team and I absolutely love helping people just like you find a home that matches their lifestyle. So whether you're looking to move in today, tomorrow, or somewhere in between, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. We're always available to help you find the home that matches your vibe. Now let's get started on the Austin characteristics. What do you need to know about Austin? Number one, we're kind of a progressive city. So what does that mean? I'm born and raised Texan, so I can comment to this. I grew up in the country and now I live in Austin. Texas doesn't agree with Austin, and Austin doesn't agree with Texas for the most part. Austin is more liberal, leaning towards environmental concerns and maybe even some vegan type lifestyles. In the country, we're going to be eating a lot of beef and be much more conservative. So typically speaking, Austin doesn't match the rest of the vibe of Texas. And that's okay. The second great characteristic about Austin is all the outdoor activities. We have a lake or a river that runs through downtown. We have the Barton Creek Greenbelt. We have outdoor patios for restaurants and hanging out in entertainment districts. And we have lots of golf courses. So let's talk about that river. It starts all the way out in Lakeway and goes east of Austin. At different sections of town, it's called different things. So out in Lakeway, it's Lake Travis, then it turns into Lake Austin, then it turns into Town Lake and or Lady Bird Lake. So while you're in downtown Austin, that section is Town Lake and Lady Bird Lake. And people love to paddleboard, kayak, fish, do all the kind of outdoor hiking around it while you can walk all the way around the lake too. In the summer, on the weekends, you will find huge flotillas of paddleboards out in the water, and everyone just kind of hooks up together so you don't go down river. And I've even seen some weekends out there where there's a DJ and they're playing music for everyone. So people come out there, hang out, talk, have a picnic. Yes, picnics on the paddleboard, and listen to the DJ. It's awesome. Let's talk about those golf courses. We have 10 private clubs within the vicinity of Austin, Texas, and we have 3 semi-privates, and then we have a handful of municipal courses sprinkled around. You can check this map out here. They're color-coded as such. So on the private country club communities, it ranges from Austin Country Club, Barton Creek, Spanish Oaks, Great Hills, Onion Creek, the works. There's 10 of those, and they offer different things for each one of them. I totally have videos covering all the golf courses and what they include. For example, Barton Creek has 4 golf courses included in their $175,000 membership, and Great Hills Country Club just has the 118 holes in their $50,000 membership. So you can kind of find what you like depending on your price point and what you want by way of golf course and amenities. And if you want details on those golf courses, hit me up down below in the comments and I'll call you right away, because I've played every single one of them. I played golf back in the University of Texas, and I know these golf courses and their communities inside and out. While we're on that outdoor topic, let's talk about the bugs and snakes. We are Texas, we do have snakes, and we do have mosquitoes. Now, the mosquitoes can be quite a bothersome thing in the summer, especially after a rain, when there's water puddles standing around, because that's when they hatch and get kind of prolific. But there's ways around it. You can stay indoors for one thing, or you can buy some incense and some burning candles and things like that. As for snakes, scorpions, spiders, you just have to be on the lookout. Look, I've been living in Texas my whole life. Knock on wood, I haven't been bitten by any of those things yet. So if you want tips on how to avoid the snakes and scorpions, just let me know and I'll get you those right away. Austin is also a very pet-friendly town. I mean, I've talked about those outdoor patios that everyone has. Well, they encourage you to bring your pup. They often have water bowls outside, and sometimes the wait staff will even bring treats for your fur babies. And continuing on that outside journey, let's talk about the weather. It gets hot. I mean, in June, July, August, September, it's really hot. Sometimes we have over 30 days in a row of over 100-degree temperature. Not always, but it can happen. So you need to be prepared to either stay in the air conditioner or get in some water in the swimming pool or the lake somewhere. On the flip side, we can play golf all year long. The winter isn't that bad. Now it can get bad, it can freeze, it can snow, and we have had it a couple years ago. We had Snowmageddon where we lost power for a week. Everything was iced under. Last year we had an ice storm, trees were falling everywhere. So it can happen in the winter, but it never stays too long. In Texas in the winter, in Austin, you can have 4 seasons in one day. You can have snow one week and you might be in shorts 3 days later. So it changes a lot during the winter. But keep in mind, it's February right now and I played golf on Saturday. That's not too bad. Austin is also very culturally diverse. Back in the day, we used to be called the city, we had called ourselves a keeping it weird. We've kind of lost that slogan a little bit because we've had so many people move into Austin and stay here. We get a lot of Californians, people from Chicago, the Northeast. We have good weather, we have favorable no income state tax incentives to come here, and so it's created a little bit more diversity all around town. But having all those different diversity people coming in, and I'm talking from other countries as well, it adds to the creativity of the town. I mean, just think about restaurants. We have Asian fusion, we have barbecue on top of ramen noodles. I mean, the Mexican goes hula hut, where you take Hawaii and Mexico and mash them together. So the cultural diversity can be a fun part of this city. But if you're kind of one of the older Austinites that just wants to keep it weird, it is changing, and you will hear a little bit of complaints from those type of people. Let's talk cost of living. It's expensive. There's no way around it. It's expensive to live in Austin. We're the smallest big city. Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio are all still bigger than us by population, but we're most expensive. The median home price in Texas is $335,000 for a home. In Austin, right now, we're around $560,000 for the median home price. That's the city of Austin, and it changes by month, but I'm just taking where we are this current month. San Antonio is the lowest at $273,000. Then you have Houston at $306,000 and Dallas at $335,000 on average, or the median close price. So let's take a real day example to show you the difference between the income levels and the house levels. So the median income level for Austin is $86,000. That puts it around $7,000 a month, $7,210 to be exact. The national average of the median home price, just for the record, is $75,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a $500,000 home, which is around the median in Austin, and we're going to use a 20% down payment and a 6.5% interest rate. That's kind of where we were last week. And that puts it at a $100,000 down payment, and we're taking a loan out on the $400,000. So with taxes and insurance, that ends up being around a $3,700 payment per month. And if you're only bringing in $7,200 per month, that doesn't leave a lot of room for play money. And that $7,200 is pre-tax, so you're not even bringing home that much. So you can see the discrepancy, how the price of homes are much higher on median price than the median income can actually afford. So people are forced to either rent or go further out of the city. And going further out of the city, let's talk about traffic. It's terrible. Once upon a time, the city council said, if we don't build it, they won't come. Well, we didn't build it and they came. We do not have enough infrastructure for the amount of population that lives here. The roads are tight, the water is short, the schools are tight. So basically, we're trying to catch up. There's construction everywhere, and we are catching up, but I don't think it's going to happen within the next 10 years, and probably by then we will have outgrown what we caught up to. So just keep in mind that if you're traveling across town to get to work, you may rethink about what part of town you want to live in based on where your commute's going to be. We do have a little bit of public transportation, and by little bit, I mean just a little bit. So we have a bus system. It's pretty good going north and south or east and west, but if you have to go like in an X across town, it takes forever. So it's not a great means to count on if you need to get somewhere quickly. We have a train system, one train that goes just north to south and back. That's it. So we don't have any type of subway or any kind of system that'll help you get around town easily. So what did we do? We built some tolls. We've got some tolls in town, toll roads. They do get you there quicker. Some of them are a roundabout on the outside of town. One of them is directly through town, but they're expensive if you have to use them all the time. So keep that in mind if you're choosing which part of town you want to have your home on compared to where you have to drive all the time. Let's talk music and food. I mean, for the music venues, we have over 200 venues that can show live music in Austin, Texas. We have a festival that's created just for live music. That's the South by Southwest Music Festival. Well, now it's turned into something even larger. It has much tech, gaming, and shows and talks with people from around the world, and it goes for 2 weeks in the spring, the South by Southwest. Fast forward to the fall, and we have Austin City Limits Music Festival. It used to be only one weekend, but it's grown so big that now we've had to have a second weekend to incorporate all the bands and all the people that want to get in to view them. So we have lots of festivals throughout the year. We have Reggae Festival, we have the Latino Cultural Festival. I mean, we are a festival town and music everywhere. So if you want to see music any night of the week, you can find it. Jazz, funk, country, disco, pop music, indie, you name it, we have it in Austin, and you can come here and find it. And the restaurants. I already mentioned the fusion of restaurants. We are getting really kind of noted on the map as a place to be to have your restaurant. We have a lot of well-known chefs that are moving here to create their scene in the restaurant pace. And look, Franklin's Barbecue, he's on a Visa commercial these days. So we've come a long way, and there have been a lot of great chefs that have paved the way here in Austin, and you can find any good food any day of the week as well. The next thing about Austin is we are a tech hub. I mean, Tesla moved its big Cybertruck space here. In addition, Dell's been here forever. We have Samsung, IBM, the works. We have a lot of startups here, and I think, so Tesla is located out on the toll road 130 out towards the east of town. I think that whole toll will be filled up with industrial businesses that feed into that Tesla plant as things grow out towards Taylor, and the tech industry is growing very quickly here in Austin, and we have the universities and infrastructure to support that. Speaking of the universities, we have 5 in town. We have the University of Texas, St. Edward's, Concordia, Houston-Tillotson, and Austin Community College. And many people come here and go to those schools and don't want to leave because it's a cool city. So that helps grow our cultural diversity when people come from all over the world to come to our schools and universities. Maybe they're in tech and they just want to stay put. Next, I kind of mentioned at the front of the video that Austin is a progressive city. We're more liberal than most of the rest of Texas. We're also very in tune with health and wellness. You're going to find a lot of vegetarian restaurants and vegan restaurants. You're going to find yoga, Pilates, exercise classes all over. When the sun comes out in this city, everyone goes outside to exercise. You'll see them all around the trail around Town Lake, riding their bikes, walking, running, doing sprints and CrossFit, all the things. You can see it constantly on the outdoors in Austin. And of course, there's the studios that people go inside to when it's too hot to go outside in the summer. Speaking of too hot or too cold, we have our own energy system in Texas, ERCOT, E-R-C-O-T. Well, you know, we like to do everything on our own here in Texas, but this has some pros and cons for sure. The pros, well, you can do what you want when you own the whole thing, but the cons are if you can't handle the system, what the load on the system is, it just shuts down. So earlier I was talking about the winter weather, and during that intense snowmageddon where we had a week of just solid weather in the 20s, there wasn't enough energy, there wasn't enough power, so a lot of people went without power for an entire week. I was only without it for a couple of days, so as soon as the roads got good enough, less ice, they weren't great, I was still very scared to drive, but I drove down and got my mom and brought her back to my house because at least I had power to stay warm. Her house didn't have power and water for over a week. So you got to think about that old power grid. One little nuance to that, if your house is within a power grid of a hospital, that's good news. I did have one friend nearby that was on the hospital power grid, so she never lost power, so I could at least go over there like an hour a day and warm up. It was absolutely crazy. Let's talk sports. We basically are a university town. We don't have a pro sports team except for our Major League Soccer team, the Austin FC, Go Verde, that just started here a couple of years ago. They've taken the town by storm, and even those of us that don't know anything about soccer have a great time going to the game. But if you're looking for NFL or NBA or Major League Baseball, you've got to go out of town. We've got Dallas Cowboys, Houston Texans, San Antonio Spurs. So those are the towns you're going to have to go to if you want to see any professional sports. But we do have a lot of sports here by way of university. I'm a University of Texas alum, so of course I like to watch the Longhorns play football, baseball, tennis, golf, the whole works here in town, and it is an enormous stadium that draws in the crowds for the Longhorn sports team. We're getting near the end, guys. Thanks for sticking in there. A couple more characteristics about Austin. There are a lot of investors here. Why? Because it's a solid town with predicted appreciation. There's also a lot of short-term rentals here. Think Airbnb and VRBO. You can make more money on the short-term rentals. Of course, you have a lot more upkeep and things like that, and there's pros and cons to both. One bad thing, if you live next door to an Airbnb and the owners don't take good care of it, meaning they allow the tenants to have parties late into the night, that could be a downer. But if you own another property and you rent it as a short-term rental, you might make a lot of good money because we have a lot of tourists visiting Austin as well. So it's a very friendly city to investors. And lastly, let's not forget about those property taxes. The great thing is we don't have a state income tax, but we do tax the real estate in Texas. In Austin, you're going to look at a real estate tax of about 2.3% of your assessed value. And in the greater areas, the areas outside of town, you can go all the way up to 3 and just over 3%. And the difference is when you get further out of town, there's less infrastructure, so they need more tax money to build the roads and the buildings and the water and all the things like that. So that's why you'll have a higher tax rate further outside the city. So thanks for sticking around. Austin has a lot to offer, and there are also some things you need to know before you move here, just in case you just can't deal with them. I hope we've helped you make some decisions today, and if you ever want to see anything in person, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. We're always available to help you find a home that matches your lifestyle. Until then, I hope to see you around town.